This week on the podcast, Reincarnated as a Slime Part 2 has a release date, Netflix is now working on a new anime called Eden, and maybe Tom Cruise is in Bethesda Starfield, and find out what the difference is between comic and anime conventions. But if you don't know already, you're listening to the Sunovageek podcast. Hey Zeo, how's it going?
Great, Spen. How are you, good sir?
I'm doing great. I never know if I should be like, hey, I'm Spen, or if I should be like, hey, you're Zeo.
I would just kind of roll with whatever you're doing, and then hopefully it doesn't crash and burn.
Well, happy whatever. Is it Sunday today? No, it's Monday. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy fake Monday.
Happy fake Monday. And whoever listening to this, happy Monday to you too. If it's on a Monday, if it's not on a Monday, then you're out of luck. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yeah, not everyone gets happy days.
That was so stupid.
So, Spen.
Yeah.
You know, we like to be doing news now, and I got some news for you. Are you excited? You ready for the news?
I am. I've got some for you too.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for your news.
Well, hit me with what you got.
Okay, all right. Now, for real, you know how you like that time I got reincarnated into a slime?
I'm always afraid where this is going.
Well, season 2 is out, naturally. And we've been waiting on part 2 of season 2. And they've officially set a premiere date.
Yeah, next season.
Part 2. Yeah, it's coming out July 6th. Are you gonna day one watch it?
I'm 100% gonna do it. Why? What's going? Are you just curious, or is there something you're gonna?
I'm just curious.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm 100% gonna watch it. I'm really excited for it.
What'd you think I was going to do?
I don't know. You've never introduced something like that before. I was like, is this a bit? What's going on?
No. I'm just talking, all right? I'm just interested. I'm trying to be a little more factual, give some details this time, Spen. People are coming for the news of this segment. I'm going to give them some news.
Well, you know how when we did the podcast last week where we talked about a bunch of the shows coming out for the spring 2021. When we did the podcast, we thought it was summer 2021, but it was actually spring 2021. And because I was going through and I was trying to find the names of different shows to like do the little like tabs or whatever they're called at the bottom of the video on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was looking through the summer 2021. I'm like, we didn't talk about any of these. There's so many good ones coming out in summer. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, I'm so excited then. We need to do the summer 2021 very soon.
Well, we can't do it very soon because that's not for like a couple weeks, I don't think.
Well, still, I mean, that's like 2 podcasts away.
Yeah, and a bit of a throwback to last podcast. There's a couple movies that we missed, and I'm really excited for them.
Okay. What movies are those?
Oh, never mind. It's Fate Grand Order. I thought it was another like Fate Stay Night movie, but it's Fate Grand Order, which will still be good. Never mind. Yeah. I got nothing else to talk about for those.
Oh, okay, great. Moving on then.
Dang it. I was excited because we both really like the Fate Stay Night stuff.
We do. Fate Stay Night's so good. That'd be amazing if they announced a Fate Stay Night movie. I would have been all over that.
But there is a Detective Conan movie 24, so.
Oh my god.
There's 24 movies.
There's 24 movies?
Yeah.
There's like 1,000 episodes and 24 movies. Are we still going to do a thing where we plan to watch all the Detective Conan episodes?
Well, I was going to talk to you about it. I really want to.
Oh my god.
I really want to.
But we have to watch at least the first 50 episodes in dub because that's all they have.
Oh, they don't have any more after dub after that?
They just stopped. They just stopped doing it.
That's going to be so hard to transition over into sub
I know, it's going to be great. We'll bitch about it. We'll be like, oh man, everyone sounds so different. We don't have to if you don't want to.
Tell you what, you can start watching it in dub, and I'll tell you I started watching it in dub.
Whoa, that's not cool. All right. I'll accept those terms.
But yeah, I was thinking about it. I want to do it. And we should.
I do too. All right, we should.
How do we want to do it? Are we going to do it like, because at first I thought it'd be kind of cool to do like one a day, and that would be rough and it'd be tough. Yeah. But if we could pull that off and we make like a little video of it every day, even if we both make our own separate one and we paste it together. And then
I see what you mean, like a little mini podcast kind of thing.
Yeah, even if it's like a little mini like 2-minute vlog where it's like, hey, just watch the episode. This is kind of what I like, blah, 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 blah. If we could do that every day until we catch up and then do it bi-weekly or do it every week with the releases, that would be insane. And it'd be so hard to do.
That would be insane and so hard to do. I feel like we would start strong and like 2 or 3 weeks in, we'll just stop.
Well, that's what's great is there's 2 of us working together so we can help push each other through it.
That's fair.
Right?
Oh, man,
that's a lot. Let's say for some reason you miss one of the episodes and I still watch it, then technically we're still going through and doing it.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
Because we both know I wouldn't fall off of it.
I mean,
I'm too responsible.
yeah.
Oh, we make a competition out of it. There we go.
Who goes the longest?
We see who can go the longest.
And then we have to call each other every day.
Well, we don't have to call each other. Like, I guess we'd still have to figure out a way to get everything together.
To talk to each other. What don't we just do like a weekly thing? We'll just talk about the week's episodes.
Yeah, okay, we'll do something weekly. Well, in the podcast if we have to, but I'm still gonna do it where every day I'm gonna make a short little video that gets uploaded, just to prove and show that I've been watching it one episode a day. And we should make it so you can't watch more than one episode. Unless there's like something happens where it's like maybe your wife decides she's taking you on a trip. Then you download the episodes onto your phone.
Yeah, okay.
And you tell her to stick it because we gotta call it like something good, like the Conan
Edagawa special, watch a video a day spectacular. How's that?
Okay, why is it that you love really long titles, right? You're always like, whenever you hear a really long title for different things, you're like, man, it really makes me want to watch that. And then I came up with a show idea that I wanted to do, and I pitched it, and it was a really long title, and you're like, that's stupid. It needs to be a short title.
Even though I love really long titles, I don't think they have great track records.
Oh, okay.
When on one side of game, I have to try to think of it from a viewpoint of a regular person who doesn't understand it. And so I try to be critical on that point of view. But in reality, I love long, stupid titles. They're the best.
We should do this 100%. We should do every day.
We should talk about it more after the podcast. But I agree. We should plan something and get going.
Yeah, because I think it'd be a fun thing to do. And if we did an episode every day, I think it would still last longer than the Sunovageek podcast.
Well, because the Sunovageek podcast has like a deadline now.
It's like when did we choose? I don't remember. I wrote it down.
I don't remember. I set an alarm.
It's like 2 or 3 years, so we could very well not be caught up to all of the Conan episodes before the Sunovageek podcast ends.
Well, we didn't say the podcast would end. We were just ending our friendship.
Well, no, you said that. I guess that's the end of the podcast too.
Oh, yeah, because I guess since we're not friends, we probably wouldn't talk.
Yeah, it'll make the Conan thing complicated.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Anyway, Spen, you know how Netflix produces a lot of content?
It produces tons all the time.
I know, they make so much content. They pretty much just throw whatever they can at the wall to see what sticks for a couple, 3 seasons. Well, they're at it again, Spen. They're doing another anime. It's called Eden. It's one of their newest attempts at an anime, but they're coming and swinging, man. They got this director. His name is I'm about to butcher this name. Yashuhiro Irie, I believe. Yashuhiro Irie. Anyways, if that means nothing to you because you're a big fat dummy head, he was the director of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Oh, interesting. This could actually be pretty good. It's not in 3D. It's in 2D.
It's in 2D.
And it's not being made by Crunchyroll.
No, it's not.
So its chances are doing better.
A pretty good director, and it's not a typical anime season. It's a 4-episode special.
So it's kind of like a movie, but they're doing it in 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we'll see how it goes. I don't really know much about... I tried to look up a synopsis. I didn't get a whole lot. But from what I understand, it's about this girl who lives in a world of only robots.
Oh, it is in 3D.
Really? The pictures looked like it was 2D.
No, it's all 3D. A human girl secretly raised by robots starts to uncover the dark secrets behind her lush utopian world where humanity has all but vanished.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Although the animation looks pretty good so far. They're showing little bits of it. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not terrible.
You excited about it?
I think so. I love the art style of it. I love desert theme type things as well, like wastelands.
I didn't watch the trailer because trailers often turn me off for animes. I don't like anime trailers often, but I like the art style enough to where I will check it out. And finding out that it was the director of the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I'm pretty hyped about that.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to watch the trailer because you'll lose interest in it.
Well, anyways, that's not all. Netflix is working on another thing, Spen.
Well, what else are they working on?
They're working on a project with Subaraya Productions on a new Ultraman 3D CG movie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but here's the interesting part that I like about it is it's not your typical like Japanese anime studio that's working on this. It's actually an American studio working on it.
So it's going to be really bad.
Yeah, probably. Or really good. Who knows?
Well, but
the director's name is Shannon Tyndall.
Power Rangers was America's version of Ultraman in the beginning, right? Wasn't it?
No, that was
because Power Rangers came from something in Japan.
Yeah, it came from something else, but Ultraman's been around for a long time. Ultraman's been around for a very long time. I think longer than Power Rangers.
Well, yeah, that's why I thought Ultraman was kind of the thing where America was like, whoa, we should do that, but for us.
No, it's a little different, but I have a friend who's really big into Ultraman, and so I know he'd be excited about this.
I don't know what it was. I could never get myself into it.
I never really got into it either, but I'm kind of curious about this mostly because of the studio working on it. So, the director's name is Shannon Tyndall. He worked on movies. Shannon Tyndall. He hasn't directed much. He's only directed one movie, but movies he's worked on the animation side is the Emoji Movie, Kubo and the Two Strings, Megamind, Coraline, and then he's also worked on Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home for Imaginary Children.
Oh, that's awesome. He's got a pretty good thing behind him then.
Yeah, so he's got a pretty good, workflow behind him. Even though he hasn't directed much, I'm sure he's had a lot of experience with directors and seeing how the story flows. I'm very curious about this because it's not your typical studio working on it.
Well, because we all know what happened last time. There was a studio that hadn't typically worked on anime, and what came out of that?
It was one of the worst.
God, it was so bad.
But it came from a guy who thought he could do anything.
I don't even remember what it was called.
I don't remember either. It was like X-Arm or something.
Yeah,
like
that's what it was. I have his movies, both of them.
Oh, yeah, that Kick Girl movie?
I have High Kick Girl and then Kick Girl. I think that was the other one. I couldn't get... There was like a third movie where it was her and like the couple girls that they all became like in their high school. You can't get that one online. I couldn't buy it. I think the only place I found it was like $130. I'm like, that's not worth it.
Oh my God.
The other two movies I paid like $15 for.
You gotta watch the movie and tell me how bad it is.
All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm excited for it.
Or we can watch it together.
Oh, we could. We could do like a watch party thing.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Watch this terrible movie and then we can do a podcast on it.
We hated X-Arm, so we watched the movie of the director from before it.
Yeah, we wanted to see what he did before.
I think it's gonna be better than X-Arm.
Well, I think it'll be more entertaining than X-Arm.
No, you can't get any worse than X-Arm.
I agree, but I'm saying more entertaining.
The book wasn't too bad. Like the manga?
No.
It wasn't terrible.
I figured you would have hated it.
It was okay.
There's like nudity everywhere in that book.
Well, I mean, disregarding that, like story-wise, it was kind of cool.
Okay.
It's the story seemed really bad because they just didn't know how to do it in the anime.
That's fair. Yeah, oh man, it was just really bad.
They like changed scenes around and they moved things and...
It was just the animation was terrible. The voice acting was bad. It was just all bad.
So speaking of adults only stuff, you know how you really love adult games and like just adult toys and anything you can get that's adult?
Yeah.
Well, you won't be able to get it from eBay anymore because as of, I believe it's the 14th or 15th of July, eBay is banning all adult content from its marketplace.
See, what I hear is that you have until the 14th of July to get all the adult stuff you can. So, anybody who's listening to this, if you're into all that adult stuff, go get it there. Get it before the 14th of July.
At first, I was concerned when I was hearing about it, but there's not really that much, because I thought maybe you'd lose the ability to buy a bunch of games. But even Mortal Kombat's just 17 plus. It's not an adult game.
It's more than just like porn and... It's mature content?
Well, any games rating of like X, XXX, or R18.
Oh, okay.
But anything below the ratings of that is fine.
Oh.
I didn't really look into all of like the adult toys and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that's going as well. But because eBay's really kicking down on that. Like, they're like, that's it. We're not going to sell that stuff. Because I don't think Amazon sells a lot of that stuff, does it? Or if it does, it's hidden it very well.
Amazon sells
I've
a lot
also
of
never
everything.
looked. I'm going to look right now if I can buy that kind of stuff on Amazon.
Go for it. Yeah. Just type in like big fat dildo. See what it gets you.
There they are. Yep.
There they are.
Well, for anybody that loves that stuff on eBay, well, Amazon's your next go-to place to get it.
There you go. You get everything on Amazon. And if you had Prime, you get 2-day shipping.
Sometimes free.
Speaking of sometimes free, our favorite studio in the world, mostly your favorite studio in the world, Spen, Bandai Namco, are working on a new IP. It's called Scarlet Nexus. But the cool thing about it is it's a game coming out really soon that looks really good. But on top of that, they're doing an anime at the same time. So both are coming out around the same time. The video game's coming out late June, and the anime is coming out early July.
Yeah, I have this game favorited on my wish list on Steam.
So I knew you'd be so excited about this.
Yeah, the game looks really cool.
I figured you'd love it because it's got all the things you love, Spen. It's got VR headsets, it's got fighting, it's got anime people doing anime things. And
wait, VR headsets?
Lots of red.
Like they're wearing VR headsets in the game?
In the anime. I don't know about the game. I only watched the trailer for the
so
anime.
the anime might be them going into a game?
Maybe. I don't know. I that's kind of what I was wondering about.
Wow, that's some great news you got with lots of great information.
I'm curious, do you think the anime is going to be the same as the video game, kind of like how the Persona series did it? Or do you think it's going to be like a story connected to the game, kind of like how Final Fantasy 15 did?
I think it's going to be kind of along the lines of what they tried to do with the new Phantasy Star or Phantasy Star Online. Do you know about that online one?
I know about the game.
Because there's Phantasy Star Online that was like came out a long time ago, and then there's Phantasy Star Universe, and then Phantasy Star Online 2. And they have a main story in it, and the story is kind of like you get sucked into this game. Oh, wait, never mind. I'm thinking of something completely different now. I think it's gonna be. I don't know anymore. I don't know.
Okay, I'm glad
in my head I was like, the anime is gonna be about them like participating in the game and playing it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I also don't really know anything about Scarlet Nexus except its art style looks cool and the fighting looks fun.
I've actually looked up the game and I'm interested to get it on the PS5 now because I saw this trailer for the anime when I was looking for some news. And anyways, I don't really know what it's about, but it does look pretty good. It is by Bandai Namco. They have a pretty good track record of misses and hits. So who knows what it's going to be? It could be terrible. It could be amazing. We'll find out about a month.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be great.
Well, you'll have to play it and then let me know how it is before I buy it.
Hey,
then I'll watch the anime and tell you how great it is. Or not.
Okay, it sounds like a plan. Do you remember that time you were playing Mass Effect 3 a long time ago, and you fell in love with Tali, and then that almost ruined your marriage with your wife?
Yeah, man, it was a really hard time. We had to go to therapy together and everything.
Well, they changed in the new remake.
Me and Tali, not me and my wife, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, they changed. I hope it's Tali. I think that's her name. They changed her appearance.
I think it's Tali.
Or Tali, yeah. There was a huge issue that the fans had when they went to go and because you had the opportunity to woo her, and you would eventually see this picture up on this counter where it had her face on it. And it was a stock image art from Google search where if you Googled like sexy lady or something like that, she was it was something similar to that. She would come up in the top search results. And so it was just a stock photo that they used for her. But they changed it and she now has an actual picture of, it's like her in her armor and then her mask is removed and you see her face.
Yeah, what does she look like?
I don't really know how to explain it. She still looks like a person.
Okay.
Early on, they had different concept art for it, and I don't remember what her race is called. But they were
Italians.
They were what?
The Italians.
No, it wasn't Italians. It was something to do with another word. But
sure it's not the Italians. She wasn't like, forget about it.
No, but the concept art looked really cool. It was like this white-skinned, very with like red tattoo markings on their face. Was one of the concept arts they had for it, and then they just went
Kratos?
with kind of
just a bunch of Kratoses.
Kind of, but like pure white skin. Like Kratos was like ashy white, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, because he was covered in ash lot because everything was burning around him, but
I'm sure. And the red just kind of seeped through.
Yeah, she used to look way different.
Okay.
I was really hoping they'd go for the old concept art for her. Because it made her look kind of alien and kind of cool. But now she's just like a human, but she can't breathe oxygen.
Well, yeah, I think she's like the favorite love interest. One of my best friends, his name's Fry. He loves the Mass Effect series like so much. He's bought it on every console and got every trophy and achievement for it on every possibility that exists. And Tali was his favorite love interest. So I have to talk to him about this to find out how he feels, to see if he likes the change or not. How did most Mass Effect fans feel about it?
Most of them are happy with it.
Me too, being that huge Mass Effect fan. Where Tali almost ruined my marriage. So.
Oh, and for all those turds that are furiously typing in chat what the race is to tell us that we're bad because we don't know what it is, it's Quarian. So you can delete your comment now.
I'm gonna stick with Talion because it just sounds better.
Well,
she's Talion.
Because her race is Quarian, and it's like a play off like quarantine or something like that. Because their race is basically under quarantine because they can't take their masks off, otherwise they'll die.
I like Talion because it's like a play off of her name. And making her the most
the whole race in Mass Effect was based off of her, Tali.
Yeah, exactly.
She was the founding member.
Yeah.
And you get to have sweet, sexy times with her in the game.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. I was going to take a bad joke somewhere, but I decided against it. Okay, well, before we move on to the topics, but I have one last bit of news for you.
Does it involve the rumors of Tom Cruise being in Bethesda Starfield?
No. But what?
Yeah, that's all I really got. There's a rumor that Tom Cruise is going to be in Starfield.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just a rumor. We don't really know.
Is he gonna do all of his own stunts?
I hope so. That'd be pretty challenging. He's going to be very busy. He's going to have to go around to everybody's game and just like, they're going to start playing. He's going to be like, oh shit, I got to get there. And someone else is going to launch it up and it's like, please wait, Tom Cruise is en route.
We'll be there in 45 hours. And he shows up. He just does like 3 flips and stuff. He's like, all right, here you go.
He's going to get really fit.
Yeah, I mean, he's already pretty fit. But yeah, totally.
Well, but I mean, he's probably put on some quarantine weight. So we all have.
Anyways. I'm glad you mentioned Tom Cruise because he's totally related to the news I'm about to talk about.
Oh, is he actually?
Yeah. No.
Oh, okay.
But in relation, if you mean he's not in it at all, then yeah, absolutely. So this isn't exactly anime, but it's an animation. So I kind of want to talk about it because I'm pretty excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen any of the trailers for Modok?
No. When you said Modok, the first thing that came to my head was Beast Explorer, but I don't know why.
No. So Modok is a villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's basically a giant head that floats around. He's super smart and has like a laser brain.
Oh, I've seen him before.
Little raptor arms and legs.
Yeah.
Basically, he's getting his own animation. So it's like a robot chicken style animation.
Oh.
But it's like a comedy spin. So it's almost like he's a family man after being a villain. So like he goes out and does crime for his job and then he comes home and has dinner with his wife and kids and stuff.
You're joking. This sounds too good to be true.
It's coming out in 3 days, Spen. 3 days.
Oh, it's already going to be out by the time people listen to this podcast.
Exactly. So if you've never heard of Modok, go watch it right now. It's going to be on Hulu Plus.
Oh, I don't have Hulu Plus.
Well, get it, Spen. There's a 7-day free trial. You can start it and then just watch
how many episodes is Modok?
I have no idea.
Because I should get my 7-day free trial after it's gotten enough that I can.
That's true. Here, let me get you the trailer, though. It's amazing.
Oh, nice. I'm looking forward to checking that out.
You're going to love this trailer.
I thought I'd seen him before, but I might have just... There's a lot of villains in like different things that are just a big floating head. But he's got like weird like purple arms and legs coming out of his body in some of the concept art that I'm seeing. So.
He looks absolutely ridiculous, and that's probably the best part. Patton Oswalt is the one voicing him, by the way.
I guess he's a recurring foe for Captain America.
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird. Oh my god. It looks like the kind of thing I'd expect to go and buy at EB Games, where I like push the head down and it bobbles back and forth.
You ever see Celebrity Deathmatch?
I haven't.
It reminds me a lot of that. If you need to watch Celebrity Deathmatch too, by the way. It's an old animation, the exact same style stop motion claymation thing, where they literally put celebrities in a ring together to fight to the death.
That sounds so stupid.
It's amazing though.
All right, well, I'll have to check out that now too.
But that's all I got for news, Spen.
Did you know that back when typewriters were being... This isn't anime news, but it's like across the ocean from anime news, so that counts.
Oh, okay.
IBM made a Chinese typewriter, and the Chinese language is very complicated. So there are this is a 5,400 character typewriter. So how it works is it's got like a ton of buttons. It's got basically, there's a few less buttons on it now than what you get on like a standard keyboard today. but the left and the right side all interact with each other. So you like push in like a button or two on the left side, and that changes what the buttons on the right side do. There was a lady that I believe from Manhattan, or no, not from Manhattan. She went to Manhattan to show it off at one point, I believe. But yeah, she ended up mastering the typewriter, and she used it in all of their like promo videos and stuff like that. And she makes it look so easy.
And then meanwhile, I could just picture like an old guy over there just doing that one finger type thing.
You wouldn't be able to, because you have to use a couple fingers to hold down a few different buttons so that it changes what buttons on the other side are going to do.
That just means it would take him even longer.
But you don't see what's going to be changing. All the buttons are labeled as numbers.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That sounds horrible.
It's incredible. This lady deserves like a Nobel Prize.
Yeah, kudos to her for learning that, but man, why? Why?
It's insane. I'd rather raise 9 children.
I would rather do neither of those things. But, you know, I mean, if I had to choose, maybe I would choose death.
Wow. That's a little extreme. Kidding. Are you and your wife ever going to have kids?
I don't know. Are we, Spen?
Have you ever talked to her about it?
Yeah.
Well, what have you guys said so far?
Hey, you want to talk about having kids? No. Okay.
Who's the one that asked which part?
Yes.
Dang it, Zeo.
Haha, you'll never get me, Spen.
I'll get it out of you eventually. Before this podcast ends.
We'll see.
Oh, I have a new phone now, so I don't have your wife's number anymore.
Oh, you want it again? I can just give it to you.
I'm just looking to see.
What'd you have my wife?
Oh, I have Lady Zeo. Yeah, I've got her.
Lady Zeo, okay.
Yeah, because I think you told me her name once, and then I forgot it.
Okay.
But I don't want you to tell me her name, because I'll feel bad for forgetting it again. So I'd rather just not
It's only fair when you eventually get married. I want your wife's phone numbers, and we could just talk to each other's wives.
My wife, I think, would be a little different.
Then what?
Well, because she wouldn't be Lady Zeo, so I don't know what you'd put in for
Lady Spen.
I guess so. That makes more sense. I can't also have a Lady Zeo.
I mean, you could. It'd just be weird and awkward.
Yeah, I don't really want to change my name to Zeo.
That's fine. I don't want to change your name to Zeo either, because I'm the one true Zeo.
But it'd be so much easier if both of our names were like if every member of game we just renamed to Zeo. So we'd be like, hey, can I talk to Zeo? Any one of us could respond and be like, all right, let's do this. We could just all pretend we're the same person and nobody has to know we're different people.
There we go. That's the next April Fool's thing. That's what we're doing. We're all gonna just be Zeo.
Oh man.
We'll all get the same image. All get the same name. No one will know who's who.
I'm so mad I didn't think about this before. Next April, I'm gonna start stream in the morning, and I'm just gonna be starting soon the whole day. I'm not gonna actually do anything. I'm gonna leave it on the starting soon screen and just walk away from my computer and do other stuff.
That's evil. I love it.
It's gonna be great.
Great. That's awesome. So what are we talking about today, Spen?
I saw a little while ago that Crunchyroll is going forward with their Anime Expo, but they're doing it different this year, where it's all going to be virtual.
Okay.
Every single aspect of it, which is really cool, and it makes sense because so many people.
Was it not virtual before?
I don't think it was virtual last year.
Oh.
Was it?
Because last year, I'm pretty sure it didn't exist.
Yeah, I don't think Crunchyroll had an expo last year.
Because, there's a worldwide pandemic happening.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Okay.
Just to make sure.
I know you mentioned that, and so I looked everything up. And I got to say, everything, I have the Anime Con scheduled for the year, and everything's just canceled, postponed, canceled, postponed, canceled, postponed.
So 2020 was canceled, but 2021 is now... it's going to be done online, so it's going to be a whole virtual thing.
Okay,
which,
when's
I
that
think
coming
is really
out?
cool. That's going to be August 5th to 7th.
Okay.
It's free to sign up for it too. I think there's like a $5 pass you can get for it as well. It might give you access to a few different things. There's not tons of information out for it yet that I've found.
Yeah,
but I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be really neat, and I kind of wanted to talk about because we've had a lot of different animes and conventions kind of canceled and adjusted, and they've all had to adapt to the new, the new state of the world. And I thought it'd be neat to talk about today what do we think is going to stay the same? Like what's changed and what's not going to go back to how it was before?
What's not going to go back to how it was before?
Because there's some anime in the last couple seasons where the especially in North America, where voice actors have all been recording lines from home. Some of it's worked out well, some of it hasn't. Same thing with conventions. There's been a lot of conventions and organizations that have all been done online, and there's been a huge shift. And I wonder if a lot of places are going to try and go back to how it was before, if they're going to embrace the at-home strategy.
I think it will vary on the con. I think big conventions like Crunchyroll's convention will probably go back to a full person thing. I think unfortunately what's going to happen is, I know like in smaller towns we're starting to get convention. Like I lived in a small town in the middle of Michigan called Alma, and basically they had an anime con every year at a college, and it was slowly growing it to become something. Now after this, I don't think it's going to come back. I think it's probably going to stay dead forever, or at least for a few years. But Grand Rapids also held a Comic-Con too, and I was very excited to do that because I did some interviews a couple times over there, and I hope that will come back. But I think it will start off, I think it varies on how the state of the world, right? So like if everybody's been vaccinated and moves forward, then I think we'll jump back into normal. Otherwise, I think it'll be a slow progress where there'll probably be limited tickets, maybe limited rooms, lots of limitations, I would say. Probably no vendors in terms of food, no food vendors. One thing I hope changes would be bathing. Hopefully they force people to bathe.
Wait, what do you mean force people to bathe?
It gets stinky, Spen.
I get that. But you're saying like people have to bathe before they can go to these things?
Yes, that should be a rule. They should have a shower right at the line. It'll be like a side shower. They'll give you a good snifferoo.
That would take so long to get in.
Hey, you know what? Maybe if people bathe at home, then there wouldn't be a problem.
But how would you know if someone bathed at home?
Just smell them.
What if they just put on like deodorant or sprayed themselves with like Axe body spray?
You can tell, Spen. If you've been in a guy's locker room in high school, you can tell. There's not Axe body spray does not cover.
I guess, but it's different in high school. Like I don't use deodorant anymore, and I haven't. Sometimes I've gone like a week without a shower, and I don't even notice.
Yeah, of course you don't notice.
Nobody complains. They're just like, "Hey, Spencer, how's it going?" You go out, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm heading out." They're like,
"That's because you live in Canada. Everyone's polite over there." That or everyone smells like maple leaves.
Of everything, you hope that there's going to be a requirement and like a sniff test on everyone entering, and if they fail the sniff test, then they're required to go and use one of these like portable shower. It's going to be like they have outhouses or porta potties. There's going to be porta showers now.
It's just going to be like a guy with a hose.
It's just gonna. We're going prison rules. Take your clothes off, fold them up nicely, and please leave them there, and then form a line.
I mean, he's gonna be dressed up like some sort of anime guy that can do things with water. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe he'll be like Katara from Avatar, and he'll hose you down.
That would work. If someone like if you go to show up to something out in public, and they're like, oh, you stink. Get in line, and so they force you to go through, and then they give you something like a bright like yellow jumpsuit or something like that, like a full onesie jumpsuit that's like plastic or whatever. It's just so that it's one of those things where it's just so irritating and so annoying and you'll stand out so much that you won't make the mistake again.
That'd be great.
Wow. So what happens if you're like at the mall and it's really hot and you just start like you just like have a natural odor that just forms throughout the day, even though you showered in the morning?
I mean, even then it shouldn't be as bad. I mean, once you multiply that by 1 million, then yes. But the idea is one stinky guy isn't going to affect a whole room.
But
however,
some people smell more than others just because it's just unfortunately how what their bodies produce. Right.
Look, man,
so now you're going to be an odorist?
No, they can put like a string through a bar of soap and wear it as a necklace, and then they're good to go.
People are going to be going to their doctor. I'm going to the mall today. I need a note so that they know that the reason why I smell this way is like a medical issue. So they don't hose me down on site. You know what? Maybe they should adopt something like that too, where they when they try to like deal with riots and they have the water there. Yeah. They should just do like, why don't they do that? They like blast people with water, but they should do soapy water so that the people can't get back up and then the riot stops.
Do you ever see the Power Rangers movie back in the 90s?
Which one?
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
Oh, where they? Yeah, dude, that movie was my jam.
Where they're like shooting all the parents with the purple ooze with the giant water hose.
One of us.
I just picture that.
Us.
It's just a guy. It's just a guy in like a
some
cat
12-year-old boy.
a 12-year-old boy in a cat costume just spraying everybody down.
Wait, why is he in a cat costume?
Because it's an anime convention.
Oh, okay.
He's just gonna be spraying a hose and going, yeah.
Man, how much would that suck if you went and you put all of your like makeup on for your costume and you get there and they're just like, sorry, you gotta hose yourself down.
If you put all that effort on to put makeup and stuff on and you don't take a shower, then it's kind of your fault.
Oh man, imagine like people are in line waiting to get in. Some guy runs through and just like starts throwing fart bombs around. Or I guess they're called stink bombs. They're not called fart bombs.
I mean, I understood.
Yeah, it's just like you throw one of those down.
The chronic farter, he's at it again.
It just all these people have like they've painstakingly gone out of their way to shower before they get to the convention, and then some jerk comes in and throws a stink bomb on the ground, and then like now half the convention's got to get sprayed because people. You'll walk up after, like they'll clear everything out, they'll wipe everything down, but that stuff lingers. So someone will walk through it and they'll get some of it, and it's like, look, sorry, it's not my fault. I've been second-degree farted on. It's just like no.
What do you think would have to change or would stay the same?
I hope they embrace a lot more of kind of like what E3 has, where you can go and visit it online or view it online.
Okay.
But I want to see that for a lot more of the anime conventions and other conventions around the place. They've started to do that with different like concerts and things.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would only work with like the really big ones though, because the beautiful thing that I really liked about these conventions is there's a lot of smaller ones that go around, so they're not going to be able to have that type of treatment because of budget concerns.
Well, they're not going to be able to really launch theirs anyways.
Yeah, I understand.
I guess we're talking about after everything opens back up.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That would only work with the big ones, because the small ones, a lot of it's just like in a high school and you've got everything set up in classrooms and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you know what will never change regardless of the situation we're in?
What's that?
There will always be furries.
Where are you going with that?
That's it. That's it.
Oh, okay.
One thing that will never change. They will always exist, and I will find them.
You seem unhappy about that.
No, I have like a odd obsession with furries.
Oh, really?
I spent so in Grand Rapids Comic Con, there's the 3-day event. I spent 1 day interviewing everybody, 1 day to enjoy myself by myself, and then another day literally hunting for every furry I could.
So why? What?
I'm fascinated by their belief system.
The culture?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't want to be in it, but I want to know everything about it.
I don't know. I've never really worried about that kind of stuff. I'm not
worried about it.
Or sorry, that's not the right term. I've never found a huge interest in that kind of stuff.
Yeah. They're just interesting people. Every single furry I have met so far has had a very interesting perspective.
I think I just had a really terrible group of friends growing up that would just find things and be like, hey, you want to see some videos? And they'd just show me stuff. And it'd just be like terrible things. So now I feel like I'm kind of scarred with that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, there's that in there as well. But you got to embrace the good with the bad, Spen. You have to know the white and the black on the checkerboard.
Well, I kind of like to think of it as some kids have a terrifying, like a fear of spiders for no reason. There's no reason for them to be afraid of it, but they're just terrified of them. Yeah. And I feel like because they had like a bad traumatic experience with it, and I just had
You're afraid of furries?
I'm just I don't know. It just frightens me being around them. It makes me very uncomfortable.
Oh my god! Now who's being prejudiced, Spen? Who's being racist now against the furries?
I guess it's me.
There are people too. They're just people with furry wants and needs, but you're just irrationally afraid of them. We're gonna have to go to a convention together, Spen. I'm just gonna get a bunch of furries to surround you. And then
I don't think it's gonna help.
Give you a big old fuzzy hug.
You know what it is? I've also always hated mascots. They've always made me uncomfortable too. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just the whole thing of somebody else in another suit where you just can't really see them, and it just scares me.
What do you miss about conventions? Do you miss anything specific?
I kind of miss wandering around the art. What do they call it? It's the not the art corners. Because there's usually a room set up where fans like artists that not like the official artists, but like fan artists. They get to set up all these booths and sell their own fan art and stuff like that.
Yeah, just like the vendors.
Well, not there's
stalls and stuff.
Not the vendor stalls. It's not like the vendor sections. There's another section of the convention. I don't remember what it's called. It's Artist Alley.
All right.
That's what I miss the most, because you'd go and see all these different fans.
Yeah, that's true. You get to see a lot of really cool artwork and stuff like that.
I love going through and like buying different posters that different artists have made, because some art styles are amazing.
Yeah.
I've got 30 or 40 of different posters that I've always just wanted to put up on my wall, but I'm always afraid that I'm going to put them up and get them wrecked. So I've been like, oh, I'm going to get frames for them, but then I never order frames, so they just sit in packages.
Oddly enough, I miss all the cosplay.
Yeah.
I miss going around seeing all the really good cosplay and then seeing the really bad cosplay. Yeah. And it's just a lot of fun to see everything in between.
Because have you done cosplay for him before?
I don't cosplay ever, no.
Oh man, I've done it 3 times.
Really? What'd you go as?
First time I went to like a little small anime store in West Edmonton Mall, and I bought like this a little bit too big Shinigami costume, or like the Shinigami outfit from like Bleach. So like from the Soul Protector guys. So I had that, and then I very poorly dyed my hair orange, and I went as Ichigo.
Okay.
And then the second and third time I went as a GameCube.
Nice. That's awesome. But GameCube's amazing. I have gone as a pedestrian before, like a background pedestrian.
What?
You know, every anime has like background pedestrians.
Oh, get out of here. That is so dumb.
No, I used to like dress up as Spider-Man and do like parties and stuff like that. So I always liked the fact that I didn't have to dress up for convention because everyone else is dressed up. So I wanted to be the fan.
No, that makes sense, because you experience convention entirely differently in costume versus out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
unless it's a really poor costume, then you experience it a third different way.
Yeah.
And
I want to experience all those ways.
Mm-hmm.
But on the outside, watching other people experience it. What I miss most about the conventions are oddly the things I kind of hated the most about the conventions I ever went to. Is like a lot of the cosplayers, there's a huge stereotype in anime, unfortunately, is you have these fans who are just way too into it, and they tend to be a little too much for people. And they always drove me bonkers. But now I kind of miss seeing stuff like that, because it was just, even though they drove me bonkers, it was really joy cool. Was something that I really enjoyed seeing. I love seeing people's shared interest in what I love. I just don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, I forgot about that, because you'd go in and you'd see or you just hear someone yelling from the other side of the room like, oh my God, it's blah, 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 blah. And then they start like running over to go and like see someone else, and all of the crazy dances that they would do. Someone would set up like a little jukebox.
There's always a corner where someone's playing some weird techno Japanese music, and then they're over there swinging their arms around, doing stuff. People are sitting around them. There's a guy shaking his booty with a tail.
And there's usually like 20 or 30 of them, and they're all doing the same dance because they just know what's going on.
Yeah, because everyone's obsessed. And you're like, wow, I'm not that obsessed. But you stare and you watch it for like 5 to 10 minutes. And you're like, man, I just wasted all that time. But then you'll watch a few more minutes. And then you're like, okay, I'm done with this. So you walk away, you go look at some vendors, and you come back, and they're still dancing. So you stare again for a couple more minutes, and then you move on your day. And they're there all day, just dancing their hearts away.
So you've gone to Comic-Con a bunch of times, and you've also gone to a bunch of anime conventions by the sounds of it.
Yes.
What's the big difference between them that you find?
Comic-Con, I think, is more diverse, I would say, in terms of like just fandom. Comic-Con has a lot more diverse in fans. Also, anime conventions tend to be way more niche, and that's where the weirdos come out. Okay. You get some of those at Comic-Con for sure, but I feel like there's a weird divide between the two. So like
it's kind of become a mainstream enough that now when you go there's kind of like you get like shunned for that kind of stuff. Is that what you're kind of thinking?
No, I was just saying like anime conventions are always weirder than Comic-Con conventions, but because of the culture.
Oh, okay.
Like the Japanese culture, the anime, you know, the kawaii, all the weird, obnoxious anime things that I fucking hate. They exist in anime conventions, but you don't see them in Comic-Con. I mean, there's still some people who do that. There are people who intermingle and they exist there. However, there's a lot less of it in Comic-Con. There's more people who I feel like take Comic-Con seriously, as an anime convention feels like a party. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, because it's kind of how I would compare the difference between like comics and manga.
Yeah.
Generally, like comics are generally more like serious and North American, like we're tough, you know, this is kind of what we want. But then manga and anime and stuff over from Japan, it's more just kind of like free. There's less kind of holding it back there, or there's less stigma like within the community itself on like what's right and what's wrong for how to act and stuff, just because of how free-form things are, or more free-form things are with Japan, and how they...
I feel like anime fans like to pretend to be like anime characters, while comic book fans just dress up like the comic book characters.
Even if comic book characters acted like, or if people acted like comic book characters, there's still a very strong difference. It's like they're still lower on the scale of like energy, and then typically it would be for the anime characters too.
You don't typically go to a Comic-Con and then see a bunch of people dancing to an anime beatbox.
No. And I used to go to the anime conventions all the time. There was a few of them that would happen in the big city by where I live, and then a couple of them like in smaller like high schools. And I used to go to all of them. And then when I graduated, I ended up moving out of province, and so I wasn't around that stuff for a couple years. And then when I was 23 or 24, I moved back, and I got the chance to go to my first convention in a very long time. And I went there, and it was very different. Like,
really,
a couple year gap. It's like the culture and everything in like a convention feels like it's completely different. Whereas if there was a couple year gap, I feel going from like a comic convention to another one, I don't feel there would be as much of a change.
That's fair.
But I think it's also because comic book conventions, there's a larger variety of an age group, and I think typically it leans towards the older. Whereas when I went back to that convention, I was like, my God, I'm only 23, and I feel like I'm one of the oldest people here.
Person, yeah.
Because you go around, and you just see tons of kids everywhere, and it's just like, I don't know if I should be allowed to be here.
You know what, Spen? When all this is over, we need to pick a Comic-Con that's between us, and we should just meet at a Comic-Con for a weekend.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun. We can go and do all the things we hate at Comic-Con, and then we'll do all the things we love at Comic-Con.
So I've only been to one Comic-Con, and I was only there for half a day. How do they do things? Are there a lot of like fan panels and fan kind of things set up in them, or does it depend on the size?
It depends on the size. I mean, there's always some form of a panel. It's either in my small town, a lot of the panels were led by fans of a show teaching other fans about the show. I think it was more like, and then there's also panels like this one person did fan art of Doctor Who, and there was a panel for them.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little different, less panels of like from professional people, more of like fans of the profession.
So it depends on the size of it then.
Yeah, I would say it depends on the size.
Okay, because I know that's one of the things I found with the anime conventions is it always seemed like there was a lot more fan input for like they could like you'd sign up ahead of time and be like, yeah, I want to do this kind of event in this room, and they're generally like, all right, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, there's a lot more leeway. Before 2020, I actually got approval. I was gonna have my own little booth. I was gonna do a game booth.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about that. We talked about that early on in the podcast too.
Yeah, we did. I got approval for it, and I was literally just gonna have a table strapped to my shoulders and walk around, so I didn't have to stay in one spot.
And they were okay with that.
I didn't tell them I was gonna do that. The plan was I was just gonna walk around with my booth, and because I knew nobody would come and see me because nobody knows what game is, but I was gonna go around with my booth. Interviewing people with my booth, and if people came up to me, I'd be like, look, I'm cosplaying over here.
Because you could cosplay as a booth and you could get away with it.
Exactly, that was my loophole.
As long as you didn't like buy or sell things, I think you'd be fine.
Exactly, I was just gonna go around and talk about game.
That's genius.
Thanks, man. If there's anything I think I'm good at is shamelessly self-promoting.
Yeah. You really push yourself for that stuff.
I do. I think I get more and more creative every year.
So if you could go, say you went to a convention, you were told you had to dress up as someone. What anime character would you go as?
Oh man.
If you had to pick someone.
What anime character would I go as? I think I would go as pedestrian number 5.
Pedestrian number 5. No, that doesn't work. Or even if you don't know the specific person, from what show?
Okay, I would pick the guy from Erased.
Oh, the older gentleman.
Yeah.
The main character.
Yeah, because I think he just wears jeans and a white
t-shirt. Oh my God. You're the worst. I've got a toss up between two. Where I'd want to go as either Spike Spiegel.
That'd be so cool.
Or I would go as the chef from Black Butler.
I've never watched it.
So I've always wanted to go as him because I enjoyed Black Butler, but he's also blonde, so that'd make things a little easier. And his hairstyle is kind of similar to how mine is, just is a little longer. But he's a chef that cooks. He tries to cook everything with a flamethrower.
That's amazing.
So I think that would be a lot of fun.
Okay, you go as Spike Spiegel. I'll go as Ein. And we can be our characters in the abridged version.
And it works out great for you because then you can intermingle with more of the furries.
I could sneak my way into the furry community. Hello, I'm Ein.
Well, with that, man. I think that's pretty much it. We're gonna wrap up the podcast here.
I thought we had our anime book club.
Oh shoot, that's right. I forgot about the anime book club.
I mean, we could skip it.
No, I think we should talk about it quickly.
All right.
Because it's been a while since we've done it. We started an anime book club a long time ago, and we were going to watch every week a couple episodes of an anime, and then we never finished it. But we were watching Serial Experiments Lain.
Yeah.
And we're 2 episodes from finishing it. We've just got 12 and 13 left to do.
Yeah, we just did 11, or 10 and 11. And what do you think about it?
Well, because we never actually talked about 8 and 9 either. I don't remember much.
Didn't? I thought we did.
No, because
we watched it.
You watched it, but I never finished watching it.
Oh, way to go!
That was a long time ago. I don't really remember much from them, except that episode 8 was the one where it did a lot of that. Do you remember where it was kind of like almost like a documentary part where it was like telling parts of the world before and like how the creation of their computer system and
yeah, I don't remember much of this show at all except the first episode I hated, and then I remember the episode where the guy shot himself. That was like the most interesting part.
I think that was the second episode of the third episode.
I remember the freaking water on the floor, and why is the floor full of water on the second floor of the house? And they don't give any explanation. It doesn't make any sense when there's a bunch of electronics in the room.
I still think it's due to just it makes it easier to because it's hard to animate and make it look like something's walking over nothing, and to make it look realistic. So I'm pretty sure that's why they did the water. Also, like the water sound effects kind of add a little bit to the scene, I think.
Yeah, I get it, but it's just dumb. I don't understand why. I also remember like her sister had like a clone of herself, like she was experiencing 2 different things at once, and then when she saw herself, she turned into this weird alien thingy.
Yeah, I don't really fully understand what was going on with that, and we still haven't gotten really an explanation from it.
I don't really understand 90% of this show.
No, I really liked how they first started setting everything up and how, well, they didn't really set up anything. They just kind of, the way they were delivering stuff was kind of cool. And I was just waiting for that moment where, like, at some point they're going to start just answering questions. And they kind of do a little bit, but for the most part, they don't.
They answer some questions, but they don't give context with those answers. So it still makes no fucking sense.
Because the hardest part right now with the last 2 episodes we've been watching too is it doesn't give any clear way for us to see what's actually happening in the world and what's kind of in like
this wire fake
in like
world.
The wire.
Yeah, like they don't do a good job at they don't I don't want to say they don't do a good job. It's probably intentional. Could be intentional. They're not showing significant differences. You do occasionally know what's real and fake based off of the context, like who's talking or people are disappearing and showing up. Like that gives you a good idea that they're in like this fake internet world. But then they cut to a different part of the scene or a different time of day, and you don't know what the fuck's going on. Are they still in this fake world or in the real world? Who's happening? Is her friend real? Are they really friends? Does she still have a clone? Where does that clone live? I don't fucking know. She's supposed to be fake. Is she real? Who knows, Ben?
Now that we've finished episode 11, I think the reason why we don't ever know is because they want us to be just as unclear as Lain is. Because Lain also has no idea. And I think it shows really well, because I think we know that for sure, because there's a part where she goes to school and her desk is gone and she's just standing there, and then they keep talking to her
and everyone turns gray and like everyone ignores her, and then she goes home and her family's gone except her dad. That's not her dad, that was hired to be a dad. And then he's
her whole family was hired to be her dad, because she isn't actually a person.
They're all hired to be her dad?
Yeah, they're all hired to be her dad. No, they're all hired to be her family, because she isn't actually a person. She is an embodiment or creation of this. I'm sure she's some part of that experiment we learned about in the beginning of the show, where it was all those kids, and it created that entity, like which I think
AI.
Yeah, and
is that the God character?
No, that's not. I don't think that's the God character.
Because he kind of just came out of nowhere for me. Like, I don't remember him at all. He seems like not important except to tell Lain that he's God.
Well, I believe he's that scientist that was in charge of everything that ended up jumping in front of the train and dying.
I don't remember.
Because they were talking a little bit during some of the backstory stuff in episode 9.
Yeah, when she went to go confront the guy on the beach.
That was episode 8, I believe. Or maybe that was the first part of episode 9. No, that was episode 8 when she confronted that older gentleman. And then he kind of like passed away while in the wire. Oh, sorry. He was the one in charge of the experiment. But when we were getting the flashback information in episode 9, where it was kind of going through, not the flashback, it was kind of like a documentary style thing. And they were talking about how kind of like computers began to be, and there was this alien ship that crashed. And then there was all this advancement towards the technology. And then they found that the worlds had these weird like resonances that happened at a specific pattern, and eventually there might be, if enough people are on the planet, then maybe they'll act as like neurons like in a brain with these resonances, and then the world will come to life. And there's a lot of weird and confusing things that don't really make sense they were talking about. But during all of that, one of the guys in charge of the wire, he was working on something, and then he was involved in it, and he ended up jumping in front of a train and killing himself. And then as soon as that happened, that's when we were introduced to the God character, who was also wearing the same white. He has that white kind of like lab jacket, like what the scientist that jumped off and died had. So that's why I believe that's him.
That makes sense.
Because he was kind of like the father that created a bunch of this stuff, or a bunch of things. And he created the original Lain, or maybe he created this new Lain from the original. And then some sort of like nano technology, whatever they called it, some biotechnology, they created a body and they put this Lain inside of it so that she could live in the real world. Okay,
one thing that threw me off, maybe you can explain it better, because again, I'm having a hard time following anything. Mm-hmm. The guys with the laser eyes, they went around, it seemed like they hunted all the knights because Lain exposed them. And one of them pulls off his laser eye and tells him he loves her. Like, that was just...
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
Man,
but like, he also said it in the same way that her father did.
Did he?
Because her father moment earlier on in that episode also, because when he revealed to her, like, hey, I'm not your father, he still loves her.
Similar thing, yeah. I just...
Yeah, no, that was also very confusing.
I'm falling back into not liking this anime.
You know what? Anymore. I'm kind of falling into not liking it as well.
It's a lot of it. The story I feel is very convoluted.
Well,
Um,
but there
I,
are
I,
some things we complained about early on that now are kind of making sense. Like now that we
yeah,
know that Lain is a creation of that other Lain, it explains why in earlier episodes that other Lain was always so like aggressive and not particularly fond of the current Lain. And then some of the dialogue that she had said, because they gave us a flashback in the one of the latest episodes where she was saying like she doesn't like the current Lain and she hates that she can kind of feel things through that Lain or something like that.
yeah.
So it's more of like that kind of like the butting head between them. Like it originally was unexplained, and we weren't. It kind of felt like maybe Lain was connecting to the wire, and then that was creating a second one of her.
Yeah.
But now we know
I
that she was created from the one that
the story,
existed before.
the convoluted story is a minor part of my gripes with it. I think I kind of falling back. I think I'm realizing again. I still think the voice acting is pretty subpar. Even in the subbed version, 'cause what really set it off is when she's having a conversation with that god guy, right? And there's a moment where he blows wires from the sky, it hits the ground, everything surrounding it. It's a very dramatic,
I think
high
that was
tense
her that
moment.
did that.
Either way, it happened. And she goes to yell at him, and when she's showing this very angry yelling face, the voice didn't reflect that. It was like, I'm mad at you, and then her face is all angry.
See,
It,
I was okay with that because I felt it fit with how she kind of presented herself throughout the whole thing. It could just be not very good voice acting, but
I would understand
she's
that if
always
her
had a hard time expressing emotions. So I feel
I
like her getting
no,
slightly angry and
I
uncomfortable with it fits.
I thought about that too, and I get that, but she shouldn't. I don't know. The animation shouldn't reflect her being outwardly angry if the voice actor can't be outwardly angry. I feel like she should have stayed in a monotonic drawing where she didn't react.
Well, I think
You
it's
know,
different
like
for me because that's how my sister used to when my sister was really young. That's how when she got really really angry. That's how she would kind of go about it. You'd see the expressions on her face, but you wouldn't quite catch it in her tone. So I think that's why I'm a little bit more accepting of it.
okay.
Well, because it comes that kind of thing comes with like a social awkwardness. At least from
Again,
my experience with
the
stuff.
social awkwardness I understand. It just the drawing should reflect the voice. And I'm real tired of nobody having any type of emotions. I don't know. I'm just getting sick of this anime real. Like I went from hating it and then being intrigued to now I'm not interested anymore.
Well,
But I'm gonna finish these last two episodes because who knows? Maybe these last two episodes will give me all the answers I ever want.
no, I'm still fairly accepting of it because they talked about in the beginning of the series of the show about with the adoption of the internet or of the wire and everything, it's kind of affected everybody, and so people are a lot more absorbed in. It's kind of like how, or at least the way I think of it is, you can be having a conversation with someone through text, and they'll type in like "ha ha ha," "lol," or like giggling with laughter or stuff like that, and that's kind of the emotion that they're experiencing it. But if while they're texting it, you can look at their face and you won't see anything there. So I feel like maybe people are more comfortable and used to expressing themselves through that because the most emotion that we typically see expressed is when Lane's in the wire and it's those people that have like the mouths or the ears. That's where we hear more of the emotion and the expression is when they're in the wire versus when they're outside of it. So I think that might be like an artistic choice from like the director to kind of go with the whole like what they've because a lot of the manga was written in to kind of like say almost like a not testament's not the right word for it to be able to see like look this is kind of what I see happening or could happen we if we had some sort of technology that we all like embraced like some crazy internet that we could be a part of. So
We'll see. I'm gonna finish it. We'll see if I like it. I don't know. I don't have hopes. I think I understand it's an older anime and pacing and stuff's different. I just feel like this whole thing has been awkwardly paced, whether it's on purpose or not. Uh, it it's never quite struck a good tone with me.
no, that's fair. You've always said that from the start with it too.
Yeah,
Because we were both very different opinions in the first couple episodes.
yeah. I mean, I swung back to be interested, but I feel like this has just gone on long enough, and I want some answers and I want things to start happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think it takes a lot of liberties of keeping us confused. And if it doesn't deliver on the promise of answers by the end of this series, I feel like it's going to be a major disappointment.
No, episode 9 for me was the turning point where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this, because they just a little over half the episode was just them basically having to explain the backstory of how the wire works and why the world is how it is.
Yeah, and then narratively that shouldn't be a thing. Like, you shouldn't have to.
No, you shouldn't have to
explain the entire show again.
Well, but it wasn't explaining it again. It was explaining the entire backstory of everything before the show.
Well, sorry. I meant like episode 11 kind of recaps the entire show again.
Well,
in the first
episode 11
minutes.
was really weird because it wasn't a recap, but it was.
It recapped for the first half. It was like it showed all the major moments again in the first like 10 minutes, and then it continued the story.
Was it before or after that point where she changed some of what had happened with her friend?
That was before all that stuff.
Okay.
Because then it moved on to the story about her friend.
Well, because I believe it was episode.
What was that weird moment where her friend was sitting in the room, and then Lain, like, she sees this weird thing on this, like, latched onto a door. So, and then it's like this alien hand, Freddy Krueger shirt, and Lane's head is on it.
So
what the fuck was that?
I don't entirely understand why they went the alien route with it. There was a part in the episode before where it was going through it, all the events of all of explaining everything, like with the crashed alien ship and all that. And when it was kind of presented in a way almost as if maybe Lain was watching this and she was kind of learning about everything that happened before. But then when it got to the part with the crashed alien ship, Lain saw an alien kind of almost as if it was spying on her through her doorway. And so then in the next episode, when Lain was spying on her friend, or like reaching out to her through the wire, then she had the alien body. I don't know if it was, I don't know what they were trying to go for with that. It was very confusing. But the alien did show up in the episode before, but only after it was like a brief moment. They talked about how there was an alien ship that crashed, and then possibly some of that knowledge from the ship is what led to the creation of the wire.
Yeah. So
I don't know if it was trying to show or put an emphasis on like alien technology. Like, I don't really get it. I was also very confused, but I rewatched episode 9 before watching the other two because I couldn't remember what had happened in it. So I saw the alien from there. So the alien didn't make as much no sense. It still made no sense, but just not as much no sense as it made for you.
I guess we'll find out next week if this whole thing wraps up to being worth it or not.
Well, that's what everybody says. Every review that I've been checking out, it's like people would say either they loved the show from the beginning and then loved it even more, or they hated the show and thought it was really dumb, but then it all made sense at the end.
It better make sense.
So, because I believe when she was running through, when it did that flashback thing, that was after she had killed all the knights.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was her kind of, because she kind of learned when she was talking to those weird people, I think they were people online, that she kind of exists everywhere and nowhere. Like, they knew her from before, but they met her after or something like that. So I think at that point she started to learn that she had the ability to travel through places. So I don't know if that was just her going back through those events.
Right.
But it was so quick and weird. And I don't know, I don't think we can call it like flashbacks, because in some of it kind of felt maybe a little out of order, but it was also quick and jarring and weird.
It all happened around the same time.
I don't know. Part of me thinks it was her maybe going back and re-experiencing. I don't know. Well, I don't think we'll ever know, but
we'll find out. I better get some damn answers about the water on the floor, though.
I want
some answers.
I don't think you will. I really honestly think that's all just an artistic.
God damn it, Spen. I want those answers. It's on the second floor. How is it not leaking into the first floor? How is it not flooding the entire house? What is she eating now that she doesn't have parents? What's going on, Lain?
I don't think she ever had to eat.
I don't know.
Maybe she never was, because we saw her going in and looking through the house, and all the plants were dead. There was never anybody sleeping in there. It was almost like them being there was just part of a job, and during the night they were gone. Because there were a couple times, like early on in the game, or not the game, early on in the show, she got home early and she wandered around her house, and she looked into all the rooms, and all the rooms were just bare and empty and nothing there. And that makes sense now that we know that her parents and that girl aren't actually related to her. They were all just hired as a part of a job.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what's going on with the older sister, 'cause she was all messed up. I don't know if she's just still messed up because of that figment that she saw, where it was like two of her.
I don't know.
That second version of her. I don't know.
Who knows? It's all fucked.
But we've gotten enough little answers that kind of relate back to some of the stuff in the previous episodes that I'm not I don't, as of this point, I would not recommend the show to anybody. I don't know if I even really like it, but I have hope that they're going to give answers and make it exciting and we're kind of worth all of it.
They better.
That's where I'm at with it.
I want this weird journey to have some sort of satisfying conclusion.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be nice to be done this show and be able to watch something not as serial experiments as Lain is.
Beautiful, Spen.
I don't know, is there anything else you want to talk about for the show?
No, that's it. I'm done talking.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up the podcast.
All right, good.
And that's, podcast comes out every Monday. And I hope you guys are looking forward to the next one where we finish Serial Experiments Lain. If you haven't seen the show yet and you want to catch up and to get to the point that we're at, we're going to watch the last 2 episodes. So we're going to watch the 13th episode, or the 12th and 13th episode this week.
Yep.
And then we'll be talking about it again on next Monday.
Yeah, and you can watch the whole series, be just as confused as us, and then know all the answers before we talk about the podcast, so you can call us idiots during that time.
Yeah. And, Funimation is the place that you can watch it. I don't believe it's available anywhere else.
Oh, there you go. If you don't have a Funimation account, just message Toll. He'll give you $5 towards it.
I think you can watch it for free. Don't quote me on that.
Well, you can message Toll anyways, and he'll give you $5.
Okay, yeah. Message Toll, ask him for $5.